Hey there, how's it going? My name's Josh. I am most commonly known as Legendary Builds, or whatever. That's what I use to make my art and post it through. Anyway, I wanted to try something new today and going forwards. I never really used YouTube all that much, but this will be kind of the pilot for that, just to introduce myself a little bit, kind of what I do, where I'm planning to go with it, and also why I'm here. So I am a electromechanical engineering graduate. I went to Sheridan College for basically robotics. As a kid, I was always super into like Lego and Bionicle, and it was a huge inspiration for me, especially just creative-wise, imagination-wise. It truly inspired me to just get out of the box and create these unimaginable worlds that I could just get lost in and spend my days in before it was time to go have lunch or whatever. So that was kind of my childhood as far as my playtime and stuff. As I got older, that childlike state had never really left, and I always felt like the world around you kind of wants to shove you into that box that says, okay, it's time to grow up. You have to go out and get a real job, and no, you don't have time for that anymore. Why are you still playing with toys and all that kind of thing? But I was never able to truly explain why. I had this longing and this like burning thing inside me that just said, no, like don't stop, like that's important, you need to keep going with that. And so I mean, I never did. As a kid, I used to just play with like my Lego and Bionicles and stuff, but as I got older, I started to get a little bit more into art, where I would just draw pictures, I'd do my arts and crafts, I'd burn myself a million times with hot glue guns and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually, kind of once I hit, I think it was like grade 5 or grade 6, where I decided I wasn't gonna play with toys anymore, or at least I wasn't gonna collect like Lego or Bionicle stuff anymore, because I thought I was like too old for it. So I kind of put that on the back burner a bit. I got into wrestling, like WWE, and kind of just slowly faded out from there. And I just started continuing my journey into art and creating things. It just felt natural to me. If it was something that the world would tell you is, you can be an artist, don't worry, it pays well, I would have probably continued to pursue that, but you know how the world is. And generally I was also just a good student, as far as taking tests and studying, but it would take me hours. Like something that should have only taken like 20 minutes to learn would take me like an entire night up until midnight at the dinner table, and it was never easy, but I got to a point where I almost enjoyed it. Like I allowed that challenge to push me further into trying to find solutions and finding patterns and trying to come up with unconventional ways of understanding things. So yeah, for the rest of high school, it didn't come easy, but I continued that way and I managed to get through. I got good grades, went to university, and that was kind of my first experience not being the good student, essentially. Like, first semester was fine, And then the second semester, I had a group of friends that were also like nerdy like me, but they were super into pop culture and collecting toys. Like this is kind of when Funko Pop started to get really popular, and so that's kind of when you're in an environment like that, you kind of absorb a little bit of what's around you. So like when parents will say like, you are who you hang out with, or you are what you eat, like that kind of thing. So that kind of rubbed off on me a little bit, and I started getting like super crazy into collecting Funko Pops. I was always good with money. Like I was always good with saving, let me put it that way. And I was like, wow, I have all this money that I've saved up. Like this would be a perfect thing for me to be able to funnel it into, because it's something that my friends are into, and it's something that I'm starting to like now. So let's do it. And yeah, there were some other things that happened in my life that kind of led me to leave university. I had a lot of up and downs with that. Some things that may seem like bad life experiences, and the wrong people in my life that I was starting to invite, and it just you know, kind of when you get into your like party era where you want to go out all the time and all that kind of thing. Anyway, man, this story's kind of all over the place. I'm just saying whatever comes to mind. So long story short, what I want to focus on more is the fact that I was still doing the toy collecting during this time. And it wasn't until, I don't know, like roughly 2019, roughly 2020, around then, where I was like, you know what, like I looked in my room and like in my closet and all my shelf space, and all I saw was plastic everywhere, just all these Funko Pops. Like I had the ridiculous smell, like unhealthy, to the point where it appeared to be like an addiction almost. But I don't really put it that way. But on the outside in, a lot of people were seeing it that way, like, okay, like you need to stop. And I think I just started taking it the wrong way. Anyway, it got to a point where I was like, you know what, I really do think that maybe this is too much for me, or this is the end of my phase for this stuff. So I sold off what I could, started going to toy shows. I was painting them even, like if you're gonna try and sell something that somebody could buy at the store, why are they gonna buy it from you, right? And so I started to get a little more creative with that, and I decided to start painting these Funko Pops into different characters that didn't have in the stores yet. So and that started around like 2018, 2019, when I started doing that painting part anyway. And I put it under an Instagram account called Legendary Builds. So anytime I made crafts or built things, or eventually anytime I would custom paint these Funko Pops, I'd post it there. And it started slow, but eventually I started to sell them. I was getting better at my skills, increasing the prices with my abilities and what I was able to produce. And then came a moment where I wanted to start something more original, and that's when I decided that doing the custom Funko Pops weren't for me anymore. And this was shortly after the COVID-19 lockdown started happening. People didn't have money to spend anymore, and so I kind of just turned away from that. that avenue and started carving out a new one. And that's where I got onto the concept of Leo, which was a robot character I created, a fictional character. And I wanted to start making my own toy designs, which is even something I wanted to do as a kid when I was building with Bionicle and Lego. But Bionicle stopped their production. They made an attempt to come around a second time, but it didn't last for very long. But anyway, I was inspired by it to make my own. I wanted to make my own robot characters and toys, and eventually buildable sets, just because I thought it was the coolest thing. It was something I enjoyed, and especially the stories that were behind all these characters. So I made my own character, and then the idea sparked to make a storyline behind it. So my thought was, I don't know, you're gonna make a figure or a toy or a character. No one's gonna care about it. Like, why would somebody buy a toy about a character they don't know anything about, when you could actually make it into something meaningful? Which is why I decided, you know what, maybe I should do comics instead, and kind of use that to funnel people into the idea of buying a cool collectible figure that I make. So there was a bit of a process with that. Still a lot of up and downs. Not really inspired by anything in particular. It was just, here's a robot, okay, what's a cool story? And I would just envision, okay, if I was watching a movie trailer, what are the coolest parts? And basically replicate something like that and then turn that into a comic. I didn't really have the skills to do that. Like, my drawing was okay, but my abilities were kind of like where I had left them. Oh, and that was another part I forgot I left out, was in high school I actually went into the arts program, and my passion for it really burnt out when it became work, as far as like assignments and draw this pair and draw a scene of this. It seemed very not my style. Like, it wasn't me. Art fundamentals are important, but when it starts to take away from the passion of why you're pursuing it in the first place, then you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing it because you enjoy it, you have a passion for it. And if you want to get better and like learn and stuff, like, keep making, keep creating. But anyways, that's aside from the point. So yes, I had kind of uninspired storytelling, and I got super into going to toy conventions, comic conventions. I met a lot of people, made a lot of good made a pretty good network of connections and friends and people that I would have never met before if it weren't for pursuing this. I fell into the trap of kind of the new age spirituality stuff. It seems too good to be true. You can have anything you want if you just will it into existence with your own selfish desire, and basically trying to rationalize doing whatever the heck you want without any consequence. No judgment to people that are still doing that, or people that do still believe in that, or just in general, like, no judgment to you at all. Like, I used to do it. I used to be involved with the whole manifesting and doing your spirit walks or whatever, astral projection, all that kind of weird stuff. And I got into a really dark place in myself and in my heart. And basically, when I was pursuing this stuff, it was just a constant push of, I'm just shove this comic in front of as many people as you can and get famous and get rich and create whatever you want. And then there wasn't really a lot of inspiration, I don't think. Like, there was no driving force aside from selfishness, to be entirely honest. Like, it was really, I felt like it was just me thinking about myself and what I want, and where I'm at in my life now, when I look back, it was wrong, or at least I see it that way. It's not a way to like poop on myself, but just it felt wrong to me. And basically what I'm getting at is, when you're trying so hard to get ahead, climb on top, and like trying to take the most of what the world has to offer, you're giving up yourself. You're giving up your soul and who you are and what you're truly meant to be. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus, who is the Son of God, who is also God. And he died for our sins so that we could be forgiven and that we could be reconnected to God the Father. Essentially, when we look at ourselves and the way the world operates, everyone kind of is trying to do their best. They're trying to be good people, but the reality is we actually don't know what is good. We don't know what is truly good. Like, imagine a child who's raised their whole life to disrespect people, or in a fictional sense, like a child that was raised at birth to be the top assassin or something, and the only thing they're taught is how to kill and fight. To that child or that person, that's all they know, and they think that they're good because that's the only thing that they've ever been taught. They don't know differently. So and the only true source of that goodness is from God. So why am I bringing this up? When I was doing my comics and going to these shows and trying to get famous and get rich and all that, I was being selfish. At the moment, I thought I was doing something good because I was trying to break free of social norm and chase after my dreams. But you could be doing so much more. You could still be accomplishing those dreams, but you could actually be doing it in the purpose of what you were created for, why you were brought into this earth for. So I reached probably one of the biggest lows in my life, where I essentially said, like, you know, I've had enough. I can't continue this route anymore. Like, every time I try something on my own, anytime I'm pursuing something, I get brought back down. Like, you come up a little bit and then you go back down. You keep failing here, you keep failing there, falling into depression and seeing your self-worth as being nothing. And essentially it was like my last chance that I was essentially reaching out to God with. And I said, God, I've heard about you my whole life. I was raised in a Catholic school, and you always hear about all these wonderful things that you do, or that you did in the Bible with these saints and stuff, these prophets, and all the wonderful miracles you did. But I don't see that anymore. I don't see anywhere in the world that happening. And I basically said, like, God, if you're truly there, if you're not real, I don't know what else. I don't know what's good in this world. There's no hope. There's nothing. I'm lost. And if you're not there, if you're not truly real, then life is meaningless. And I basically asked him to help me. If you're truly there, please help me. I'm struggling. I have so many sins, so many bad things that I've done according to your laws and like the commandments and stuff. So please, if you could forgive me, please forgive me and show me the way. If you're truly there, please show yourself or something. And that night I was searching through, I was going through Google, I was going through YouTube. I was actually searching up some like biblical stuff just to see if maybe something would jump out. And it was actually I think it was like one of those question forum pages that basically said, if you do something without knowing how bad it truly is, and you ask for forgiveness, would God still forgive you? And I almost don't even remember where it came from, but there was this one particular line in that said, you are forgiven, and you are forgiven. Learn the lesson from this and don't do it again. I might be wording that slightly differently from how I read it, but it wasn't the words that impacted me. It was like this feeling that I had, that when I read that, it was like this burden had been lifted from me. I felt light, like weight-wise, like my inner self, like the insides of my body felt like it didn't weigh anything. Like I just felt like I was being lifted almost, and I was just laying on my bed. I just started bawling, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't explain why. Well, I could explain why, but it was just uncontrollable. It was I've never experienced anything like that before. And it's not like, will people say like, oh God, show yourself to me, appear in my room right now, or whatever. It doesn't work that way. Because if that's how you're speaking, in your heart, if you're coming from a place of already discrediting God without actually opening your heart to the possibility of Him actually being there, even if He did show up, you'd still be critical of it, and you would, right? Like anyway, I think all I'm saying is that marked the point, a change, like a tipping point in my life, a pivotal point, where I felt like, alright, my life was going in one direction, destined for destruction, of like just leaving a waking path or a waking trail behind me, versus the path that I'm currently on, which is pursuing the life that God made me for, and pursuing God. And the only way to find that out is to attempt an honest, genuine relationship with him. And that's just simply by praying. And to be honest, you don't need to know how to pray. There's no proper way to pray. And this was actually mentioned in the Bible, where Jesus' followers said, Jesus, teach us how to pray like you. Maybe I'm mixing it up. But there were two moments that I'm thinking of. One, he gives us the Our Father prayer. But the second one, which was, to be honest, I think even more important, especially for somebody that's felt so disconnected from God in such a while, and it's been a long time, is you go into a room, you close the door, and you pray as if it were like a private phone call almost. And imagine that God is on the other phone, on the other end, and he's listening. There are stories about people saying here that they've heard like the audible voice of God and stuff, but that's not how you should be treating prayer. You shouldn't be treating him like a genie. You like rub the genie in the bottle and it gives you your 3 wishes. It's a relationship. It's seeking to have a relationship with the Creator that made you. And I'd like to continue to talk about that more, and kind of like the things that has happened in my life. This is a very long video, and I wasn't expecting it to be this long. I've been all week trying to figure out if I even wanted to make this video, and to be honest, I'm thinking about it now. It's probably not that good, and I probably just sound like I'm rambling like crazy. I really didn't plan the order of specific things, or even what I was going to talk about, but I knew that I wanted to discuss how my life has changed since I invited God in, and how it's impacted my creative projects and the things that I'm working on. So I would like to talk about that stuff more too in my future videos, but for now, this is what you get. You get a giant stew of Joshua. So yeah, and I guess before I end this video, I just maybe wanted to show you a few things. So this is my character Leo in his basic form, and then this is my character Leo in his armored form, and he has a light too, which is really cool. Hold on, there you go, light. Yeah, so anyway, that's it for now. We'll see what the next video is about. I have no idea what it's gonna be about, but we're gonna find out. If you've listened right to the end of this video, thank you for sticking around. It's very weird for me to be doing this because I'm not someone that likes to do like public speaking or anything like this, like making videos of myself talking and taking selfies and all that kind of thing is not really my jam. But this is something that I've felt called to do, something that I'm going to continue to work on and get better at. So just bear with me. And yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. And if you want to like and subscribe or comment, or if there's any details that you may even have questions about or want to know more about, let me know. I would love to answer those questions. All right, see you later. Bye.